Hi everyone! If you're on my channel, you're probably used to my posting music videos. But in addition to performing music and theater, I also am a master's student at Georgetown University studying linguistics. And today's video is actually a presentation from a course I'm taking in Discourse Analysis of Conversation. This is my first course of this kind, and so inevitably there is research I'm not aware of, and I just wanted to preface this video with that in mind. I am looking at, in particular today, back-channel responses in light of Schegloff's work, so using those as continuers or opportunities to waive repair in conversation. So I hope you enjoy seeing what I'm working on, and if you do, let me know and I will try to make more presentations like this. Thanks. Hi everyone! Today I'm looking at verbal back-channel behavior using Schegloff's 1982 article, Discourse as an Interactional Achievement, Some Uses of and Other Things That Come Between Sentences. Schegloff emphasizes that conversation is an achievement. People work together to produce what happens, moment by moment, and we collaborate in organized, sequential ways. So listener behavior influences speakers, which in turn shapes the interaction as a whole. One type of listener feedback that often happens during another person's extended speech turn, for example when telling a story, is back-channel vocalization. Things like and yeah. Schegloff seeks to understand why these are used and what they mean. His findings include that back-channels do impact the direction of a conversation, and that listeners use these in a variety of ways. But little can be understood about their function without looking at them in their specific interactional setting, so they need to be looked at in context. The two generalizations that can be made about back-channels are that they can show that a recipient understands that a turn is not finished and consents to the current speaker's continuation, which he calls continuers. And they can waive an opportunity for repair, such as clarifying or disagreeing with the previous speech. In my data, we're going to look at the function of several back-channels to see how they work to shape the emerging discourse. I've highlighted the ones of interest in the transcript. The extract that you'll hear is between my fiancé, Chris, and myself while we were having a snack. We contrast two kinds of biscotti, the ones that we're currently eating, and the ones that we used to get in New York. Then, through a joke, our talk transitions to concern popular entertainment, before eventually finding its way back to food. So now I will play the recording.
I'll have one.
You didn't dip it in any tea. It's pretty hard. They're hard. The ones that we got from New York were softer.
I know, those were really good.
You didn't need to dunk them necessarily. These ones kind of need dunking.
Yeah. These are, well...
You need Duncan McLeod. The Clan McLeod.
Is that a reference I should know?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a Highlander.
Oh, Highlander or Outlander?
Highlander.
What is that?
Outlander is the TV show and book series that you know. That's the traveling in time one.
Yeah. What's up, Highlander?
Highlander was a movie and then a TV show about, I think the movie was Connor McLeod maybe, but the TV show was Duncan McLeod. He was a Highlander, like from the Highlands.
That's cool.
But they were immortal.
Oh.
They were a group of...
Was this from the 60s?
No, the movie was from the 80s.
Oh, that's
and
what
the TV show was maybe from the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Sean Connery was in the...
Oh, okay.
He was like he wasn't the lead character, he was like the mentor character.
Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar.
But it was a thing where they like would fight with swords, and if you killed somebody else, then you got their powers and stuff, and there was a line that was like there can be only one. So eventually they had to like get down to just one immortal person.
Did they dance like the Highlanders of Brigadier? Because that would
I
be
haven't
great if you
seen
could kill
that
somebody
movie.
and get their dancing powers.
I don't remember dancing, but it's not to say that there wasn't some time where there was some dancing. There were several movies and several seasons of TV shows, so there could have been some dancing. I don't know.
It says my ink cartridges were delivered, and one other item. I don't think that's 14 pounds of ink cartridges. So it's probably cat litter.
Probably.
Okay, wait, what were we talking about before that? Because this is good stuff. This is usable.
About Duncan MacLeod or before Duncan MacLeod?
Oh,
we were talking about this
Viscotti. Yeah.
And the ones in New York being...
Yeah, I wish we had discovered those sooner.
Yeah, we'll have to go back. Or,
I need to eat that jam before it goes
get
bad.
John to send us some, too.
That's a good idea.
We need some more of that chocolate chip loaf, too.
Yeah.
So in terms of back channels, in this extract we can see that I'm the primary one using them, the highlighted ones at least, while Chris explains something to me. So first, I've highlighted a group in yellow of several back channels that serve what I consider a basic continuer function. Those can be found in lines 41, 43, 51, 54, 67, and 70. They include, that's cool, plus a couple of oh and oh okays. They're often inserted during what, for my conversational style, constitutes a pause. In general, I use them when I can tell that Chris isn't done talking or explaining, and I want to encourage him to continue. I'm also showing him that, by waiving my option for a full turn, I don't need to ask for repair. The next three cases I think are a little more interesting, and it's where context becomes even more important to understand function. So in line 22, which is highlighted in green, I say, oh, which is my most frequently used back channel, at least in this excerpt. In this case, Chris has just told me the title of the show he was referencing in his joke, The Highlander. Initially, I think I know the show he means, so I respond with, oh, using falling intonation and moderately loud dynamic intensity that suggests familiarity. This oh could have been a continuer. However, I soon realized that I don't know The Highlander and think Chris may have meant Outlander, a show we've watched together instead. So I initiate repair, which alters the direction of the conversation. Our next O comes in line 45, highlighted in pink. So Chris has begun to tell me about the plot of The Highlander, and in line 44, he reveals that these Highlanders were immortal. My subsequent oh is dramatically marked phonologically. It's much louder and lasts much longer than any of my previous utterances. So from this immediate context alone, you can infer my excitement, interest, surprise, and in light of the broader context, we can see that this is the first time I've shown significant interest in what Chris is saying. So not only is this O a continuer, its paralinguistic cues mark it as an enthusiastic invitation, shaping the conversation by encouraging Chris to expand on his topic. Our final back channels are in lines 29 and 32, which are highlighted in blue. And yeah. So we're backtracking slightly in the conversation. In line 25, Chris confirms that his reference was from The Highlander, not Outlander, as I had suggested in my attempt at repair. With my question in line 26, what is that? I'm asking Chris to tell me about The Highlander, but instead he begins clarifying Outlander. My in line 29 waives repair and shows my agreement with his statements about Outlander, but it also shows that I'm eager, at least I know that I was showing that I'm eager for him to move on to new information. So instead, in lines 30 and 31, Chris continues talking about Outlander. My response in line 32 demonstrates some impatience with this delay. I first respond with yeah, which could have been a continuer, but instead of letting Chris speak, I seize a full turn and actively prompt him to move on to the explanation that I want, which is of The Highlander, rather than possibly lingering further on Outlander. So without considering the preceding speech, as well as these phonological aspects of these different back channels, most of their particular meanings and their effects on Chris's speech would be lost. And as Schegloff points out, it's only by looking at the specific uses of O and other utterances that we can determine their full range of meanings and possible impacts on an interaction. The end.